And it probably is, but even if Andrea Dovizioso fails to climb the cliff at Valencia, he can still be satisfied with a near-perfect 2017. The odds will not be stacked in Andrea Dovizioso's favor when he gets to Valencia next week. But there's a tired old saying we've been regurgitating in the Motogp Media Center for the past 3 decades or so: anything can happen in motorcycle racing, and usually does. Or as the late great Nicky Hayden put it, that's why we line up on Sunday. You never know what's going to happen. Because neither were the odds stacked in Hayden's favor when he traveled to Valencia in November 2006. That year everyone thought the title was already as good as done. Valentino Rossi went into the final race 8 points ahead of Hayden, having won 5 races to Hayden's 2. But Hayden made it happen. While Rossi seemed strangely overawed by that momentous day, the American risked everything. All in proclaimed the logo on the backside of his leathers. He put all his chips on the table and it worked. It's kind of nice that this year's season finale will be a minor redux of 2006, less than 6 months after Hayden lost his life following a cycling accident. This year is very different to 2006, of course. The gap between Dovizioso and Marc Marquez isn't a tricky 8-point gap, but a nigh on impossible 21 points, despite Dovizioso's near-perfect season. There are only 2 results he must be lamenting, and neither of them his fault. In Argentina, he was skittled by Alexis Espargaro, his only no-score, and in Australia, he was nobbled by his Ducati's dislike of Phillip Island's long, sweeping corners. The riders are different too. Certainly, Dovizioso is a very different racer to Hayden. I've never known a Motogp rider put so much heart and good-natured emotion into his racing as Hayden did. Dovizioso is all about the head. While Hayden made his name manhandling dirt track bikes and superbikes with big handfuls of throttle, Dovizioso climbed the ladder on 125s and 250s, using precision and momentum all the way. Dovizioso is clever, he thinks a lot, and he isn't the kind of rider who wins races by bending the laws of physics like Marc Marquez does. He wins races by applying science, not by riding around the outside of it. When his bike is good enough to win, he will fight for the win. When his bike is good enough for 4th, he will most likely finish 4th. The former 125cc world champion's final corner defeats of Marquez at the Red Bull Ring and Motogp were inspired, turning the axe on the Axeman, but he won both those races with brain, not brawn. And his 6th win of the year at Sepang on Sunday was a superb display of Dovizioso at his best. He steadily made his way forward and made every pass with surgical precision, always making the most of his bike's positives in the risky conditions. Then he watched and waited behind his teammate, studying the conditions and absorbing information from the man in front, then pushed into the lead. It will be interesting to see how the sense of occasion affects him at Valencia. Will it inspire him to do things he's never done before? Probably not. I have confirmed that it's possible to win without doing crazy things, he told me a while back. The key to winning is a lot of things. You must put everything together and you must understand how you can manage every situation. It's about a lot of work in a lot of areas. It's about having the right mentality. At least the 31-year-old knows that he will have Jorge Lorenzo on side. This probably won't make any difference, but never say never. We still don't really know if Lorenzo obeyed team orders at Sepang. He insists he didn't see the coded suggested mapping 8 message. I'm looking forward to seeing the t-shirts at Valencia that popped up on his dash telling him to surrender first place to his teammate. I often don't believe what riders say, they've all got secrets to hide, but this time I believe Lorenzo, because he crashed out of the lead at Misano while making a mapping change. That taught him not to change focus, from track to dash, in the rain, when it's many times easier to make a mistake. Anyway, the dash message is irrelevant, because Lorenzo had already told us several times that he would happily come to the aid of his teammate at the last few races. In the coming seasons, we will surely see many more coded dash messages from teams to riders. It would be fun if the rules allowed fancier words, perhaps something like these from the Paul Verlaine poem, which the Allies used to alert the French resistance on the eve of D-Day in 1944. My heart is drowned in the slow sound, languorous and long. That would look great, flashing up on your telly, via Desmos Sedici's dashboard. Whatever coded messages Ducati beams to its riders at Valencia, Dovizioso knows that the only way he can lift the crown is by winning the race, while something happens to Marquez, a mistake, a crash or a bike problem. The Italian isn't stupid, he knows the situation is largely out of his control. Even if he wins the race, Marquez only needs to finish 11th to retain his crown, so there's not much he can do except do his best, like always. We are relaxed, he said after Sunday's race. We were relaxed this weekend and will go to Valencia relaxed. If the title does go to Marquez, Dovizioso will be disappointed, but he shouldn't be too disappointed, because he challenged for the championship, winning 6 races over 5 months, which is 4 more than he won during the previous 9 years. Valencia will be a day to savor, whatever happens. During 69 seasons of Grand Prix racing, the Premier Class title has only gone to the final finish line on 18 occasions, so it's a big deal. The first time was in 1950 when Umberto Massetti duelled with Jeff Duke, the Italian on his fast but wayward handling Gilera 4, the Briton on his slow but sweet handling Norton single. Massetti won the crown by a single point. The last time was 2 years ago when teammates Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi ended the day at Valencia separated by 5 points. You may remember it. Related: why did Motogp get nasty? 5 of those 18 final race showdowns were in consecutive seasons, from 1978 to 1983, 4 of them featuring Kenny Roberts. The first 3 he won, the last he lost to Freddie Spencer, who became the youngest rider to win the Premier title. That year's finale, at Imola in Italy, was another strange one. Spencer received death threats, written on notes posted into the back of his garage, from twisted fans of old Warhorse King Kenny. Spencer laid low in his motorhome most of the weekend and had bouncers protecting him on the grid. Roberts won the race. Spencer took the title by 2 points. Marquez took the youngest ever record from Spencer in 2013 and will break a few more records if he wraps up his 4th Motogp title in 5 years on November 12. However heavily the odds are stacked in his favor, it's still an if.